Good morning, traders. In this video, we're going to go over the market open day trading plan results so far after 55 trades. I want to take it to 100 before I say it's profitable. So we're a little bit more than halfway there. I'm also going to go over, this is really interesting. Once you have collected a whole bunch of data, you can start asking yourself some questions to help yourself interpret the data. So I have 5 questions now that I've collected data. They're a little bit out of order. The 3 and 4 are down here. We're going to go over those in this video. I'm going to explain what they mean and what they tell me, because all of your data is pretty much meaningless if you're not analyzing it. So first you need to collect good data. You need a lot of it, right? A sample size of 100 is generally good to give you an idea of what's going on. And then you need to interpret that data by asking questions and answering them with the data. So let's start by just looking at what is this data that I'm collecting. I'm collecting each trade that I take per day. So if you look over here, you can see this is trade number 1, trade number 2, trade number 3. That's usually where I stop for the day. My maximum number of trades is 3. At the very beginning, I was taking up to 10 trades. I decided to not do that because they were all red at the very beginning. Plus, it was very stressful to try to take so many entries. Even if they all met my setup and criteria, it was a lot of stuff to keep track of. So this is just easier and statistically works out better anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at the win rate now. So whenever you're trading all or nothing 2R, which is what this trading plan is based on, that's the risk management of this trading plan. That means that whenever you win a trade, you get 2 times your risk. Whenever you lose a trade, you lose 1 time your risk. So if you're risking $100, let's say for easy math, you can win $200 or you can lose $100. So that means that one of your winners can knock out 2 losers, right? Because if you have 2 losing trades, you've lost $200. If you win 1 trade, you've won $200. Then they cancel each other out. So this allows you to lose more trades than you win and still make money. And that's essential. So the break even is 33% win rate. If I win more than 33% of my trades, I'm automatically making money. So you can look over here to see the win rate. And if you notice, there are very few days where my win rate is 0, meaning that I lose all the trades. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 days where I don't win any trades. And we have, looks like 4 break-even days. And then look at how many days we have of 100% win rate, where we win every trade or the first trade goes to 2R. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days where I have 100% win rate. In fact, today, I'm recording this on Friday. Today, I won both trades that I entered. Make sure you watch that video, by the way. It'll make more sense. So here's the recap from today. It's actually not released as the time I'm recording this, but it will be. And that video will show you why I took 2 trades and how I won both of those trades. They both went to 2R. So I came away with plus 4R today. And that brings up our total reward of this plan since June 17th up to 14R. So the win rate and this R value, those are the most important numbers right now. The P&L is really meaningless because we're not taking the same amount of risk on every trade. That's what we will do once we prove this plan to be profitable based on this data. Once you do that, then you can start to figure out, well, how much money am I going to make? If you're putting $100 on each trade, you'd be up $1,400 right now after a little bit more than a month of trading. So if you're risking $100, I should say, on each trade. All right, so now if I average up all of these numbers, I get a win rate of 53%, obviously well above 33%, but that's not really that accurate of a number. What is more accurate is when I take the number of winning trades and divide it by the total number of trades. So we've taken 55 trades so far. We've won 23 of them. That gives us a win rate of 42%. So that's really where that 14R comes from, not from this win rate. So we're only up about 9% above break even, yet we're making 14 times our risk on this plan so far, and that even includes those early trades at the beginning of the plan, those 4, 5, and 6 trades. When you remove those trades and you say, well, what if I only took 3 trades from the very beginning of this plan? Then you get this number down here, 19R, 19 times your risk. Again, if you're risking $10 per trade, you'd be up $190 right now. If you risk $100 per trade, you'd be up $1,900. If you're risking $1,000 per trade, you'd be up $19,000. Those are some pretty big numbers, I know, and it's just based off of statistics and it's theoretical, but it just gives you an idea of the potential of this trading plan. Some other good data to look at is the win rate without errors. So I have some trades here that I took either in error, or maybe there was a glitch that day on my platform, or my trading plan had a weakness in it that I didn't realize until after I entered the trade, and I've since adjusted it. So when I remove those trades, I have a 50% win rate, which is considerably higher. And then when you average those two, the real win rate plus the win rate without error and divide them by 2, you get this number here, 46%. And that may be more reflective of how I will trade in the future. So that could be closer to what the real win rate is, because I'll have more experience, I'll refine the plan, and maybe we'll get up to 45, 46% with this. The win rate if I just took 3 trades, including the error trades, is about 47%. And the win rate on the very first trade that I take each day is about 42%. The win rate on the second trade is about 47. The win rate on the third trade is about 55.5. So you can see that my win rate goes up as I take more trades. And that just proves to me that taking these 3 trades is better than just stopping after 1 trade or stopping after 2 trades, because my win rate goes up each time. And on the third trade, it's more likely that I win the trade than not. And it doesn't even have to be that high. So anytime you see this win rate above 50%, you know that there's a better chance you're going to win the trade than you're going to lose it. But all I need is for the win rate to be above 33% to be profitable. So all 3 of these trades are profitable so far, even though some of them are more likely to fail than they are to work out. So some other data that's pretty cool is we could actually figure out how many times our risk we're up on each one of these trades. So on trade number 1, all you have to do is add all of these together. This is the times that the trades went to 2R versus when they stopped out at -1R. We're up 6 times our risk on the first trade. We're up 7 times our risk on the second trade. And I think we're up 6 times the risk on the third trade. So even though the third trade has the higher win rate, it's only up 6 times the risk. This is a great example of why taking more trades, if your system is profitable, is going to make you more money, even if the win rate isn't that high, because my third trade has the highest win rate, but I've taken the least amount of trades on trade number 3. So even though that win rate's higher, we're only at 6 times our risk so far. And that matches trade number 1. So that's interesting. And then the other stuff that's really cool. Now this is where, okay, what do you do with all this data? How can this help you become a better trader? You start having to ask yourself some questions about what you're doing, what works versus what doesn't. So here are the questions, and I'll try to explain each one. And this will take a little bit of time, but this is so important. This is really how you're going to become a better trader. So my first question that I asked myself and this data is, when the first trade fails, how likely is the second and third trade to go to 2R on the same ticker, right? So that's kind of like saying, well, if I take one trade on AMC and it fails, what happens if I take the second trade? How likely is that to work out? Or the third trade, if the second trade fails, how likely is the third trade to work out? And the reason why you want to look at data like that is, like, let's say the stock had a great setup and triggered your entry, but you got stopped out just because of some choppiness, and then you got in on the next entry, and then it hits your target, or the third entry and it hits your target. So that's important data to look at. So first of all, you have to count up how many times 2 trades were taken on the same ticker, and that's 10. How many of those went from red to green? So that means that the first trade failed, but the second trade worked out. So far 5. So that's a win rate of 50%. Again, that's above my break-even win rate. So that will be very profitable. How many times 3 trades were taken on the same ticker? This I just don't have enough data for. Even the 10 trades, that's not really enough to be statistically significant, but you got to start somewhere. We're starting to collect the data now, and after we take more trades, we'll have more data. So I'm just going to keep on tracking this, and these numbers will just become more and more significant as time goes on. So how many times 3 trades were taken on the same ticker? 3 times. So that's pretty much meaningless. How many went red to green on the third trade? 1. So again, these numbers don't really mean anything yet because they're just too small, but as we add more data, they will get more meaning. So let's move on to the next one. You can also see my conclusion on each of these questions. Well, like what the data is telling me. What conclusion can I draw from it? I'll just let you read that. When the first trade fails, how likely is the second and third trade to go to 2R on a different ticker? So what that means is, like, let's say I take a trade on Amazon. I don't trade Amazon, but just thinking of ticker symbols off the top of my head. Let's say I take a trade on Amazon and it fails, and I decide to go to a different ticker symbol, maybe because Amazon broke the ABCD pattern and I can't get back into it, and I need to look for something else to trade. How likely is that other ticker symbol to go to 2R on the very first trade? So first of all, we have to figure out how many times 2 trades were taken on a different ticker symbol. Again, I just look through the data and find that out. And that happened 9 times. How many times we went from red to green doing that? 4 times. So we have a 44% win rate on that. So again, that's more than my break-even win rate. So it is profitable for us to do that so far. Again, there's not a whole lot of data here. How many times 3 trades were taken on a different ticker? So that means that I traded one ticker symbol on the first trade, a different one on the second, and then a different one again on the third trade. That's only happened once, and it did work out. It went green, so I have a 100% win rate, but that's meaningless because it's only one sample size. So again, you could see my conclusion over here. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about that. Let's go to question number 3. When I switch to trading a different ticker symbol, how often does the following trade work out? So again, let's say I start on Amazon, the trade fails, I go to AMC and I take a trade. How often does that scenario work out? So how many times have I done that? I've done 9. I need to bold that so that I can see that easier. I've done that 9 times. Out of those 9, they worked out 4 times. So the win rate is 44.4%, again, above break even. You can read my conclusion. Again, we need more data, but this is the beginning of collecting it. Number 4, what is my win rate on my very first trade on each ticker for the day? So that could be trade number 1 of the day, or it could be trade number 1 of a new ticker. How many trades were taken on a ticker symbol for the first time on each day? 33 times. So this is a decent amount of data here. How many of those first trades went to 2R? 16. So the win rate of trading a ticker symbol for the first time, not necessarily the first trade of the day, is 48.5%. So that's pretty good. Check out that conclusion. Let me know if you have any questions. Now this one, I believe is, let's see, we went over number 2. Number 5, this one I came up with today based on what happened on this trade. So again, make sure you check out that video. So starting on July 30th, I began to take trades on up to 2 stocks that both look very strong. So this is a scenario where you have 2 different charts up. They both look equally strong. You really can't decide which one looks better. So I'm taking trades on both of them, and this is where I'm going to keep track of how often that works out. So that's only happened once, right? So how many times do both stocks go to 2R? Today it was 2 out of 2 times. So obviously it's 100% win rate, but it's only a sample size of doing this twice and only on one single day. So again, this is the beginning of collecting this data and figuring out how often this type of a scenario works out. So that's it. So that's the data and all of the questions that I've answered so far with this data, and still collecting that data and updating it on every single trade day. The last thing I want to show you is my trading plan, and I want to show you what I've added. And let me just check that. It was a Webull notification. Just want to make sure. Okay, so nothing there. So deciding between 2 strong stocks, that's where that question number 5 came from. If you can't decide which stock looks better, enter both, but leave the third trade for the stock that looks the best on the daily chart. Again, watch that video and you'll see what I'm talking about there. If one of them goes to 2R and the other is considerably above the entry, raise the stop up to break even. This is really a difficult one for me because in the past, I've just stuck to my my bracket orders. Once I put them out, I let the trade play out, and either it goes to 2R or it stops me out. But this is a little bit of an exception because this is a case where I'm in 2 trades because both of them looked equally strong, and I'm not sure which one's going to work out. So this kind of assumes that one of them already went to 2R, and now I don't want to risk giving back that profit. So if the price is above my entry price, I'm going to move my stop up to break even on that second trade, so that worst case scenario, I end the day up 2R. And if the price is below the entry position, I'll just leave the stop at -1R. And the worst case scenario is there as I finish the day up 1R. So that's it. And everything else in here, I believe, is older stuff that has already been talked about on previous videos. I need to update this now. It's up to about, I think, 42%, and we're up 14R. So I like to read this every day because this kind of reminds me that even though the win rate percent seems low, that we're doing really well on this plan. So I just need to keep following it. And that's about it. Everything else in here is new. I'm just going to scroll through just in case this is the first time you've seen it. You can always pause the video and read through all of this stuff here. So I try to read this. I do read this every single day before I start trading. That way I remind myself of all these different scenarios and the rules. And then this is just a nice little simple graphic to remind me of the setup that I'm looking for. So anyway, hopefully this video was helpful to you. Hit the like button if it was. If not, let me know with a comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, go into every single trade with a plan. No matter how complicated or simple your plan is, you got to have some type of a plan. Even if it's just one line, gives you something to follow. You start developing discipline. That is going to be the thing that makes you money in the markets, is discipline and being able to follow your plan. Then once you're in that trade, always take your stop losses no matter what. Honor your profit target, and in the long run, you should be green. Take care.